The last ride. Halloween night had always felt strange to Mark, a veteran bus driver. The streets were unusually quiet, the air colder than normal. Driving the late shift had its perks, fewer passengers and an easy route, but tonight, something was off. As Mark turned down an unfamiliar dark street, he noticed the streetlights flickering. He couldn't recall this part of town, but he dismissed it. The night shift played tricks on his memory sometimes. At the next stop, a tall figure boarded, wearing an old-fashioned suit and a wide-brimmed hat that concealed his face. Mark nodded out of habit, but the man didn't acknowledge him, taking a seat at the back. The bus rumbled forward. Soon, more passengers appeared. An elderly woman with a bundle of wilting roses, a boy clutching a jack-o'-lantern, and two teenagers in ragged clothes boarded in silence. None of them paid, but Mark didn't ask. Something about them unnerved him. As the bus moved along its route, the city streets faded, replaced by mist-covered fields. Mark's hands tightened on the wheel. His familiar route had turned into something unrecognizable. The bus grew colder and the lights flickered. At a red light, Mark glanced into the rearview mirror. His heart skipped a beat. The passengers weren't people anymore. Instead, shadowy, distorted figures filled the seats, their faces obscured. He blinked in disbelief, but when he looked again, the passengers appeared normal, though still eerily silent. Whispers filled the air. Mark strained to listen, but the voices were faint, as if coming from the walls of the bus itself. The words became clearer. "You don't belong here." His pulse quickened. He checked the mirror again, and this time, the shadows in the seats moved. Their dark, formless shapes twisted, as if trying to escape. Panic rose in his chest. He slammed on the brakes. The bus skidded to a halt, its tires crunching on gravel. But this wasn't the road he had been driving on. He was in the middle of a fog-covered field. The passengers stood up, each moving toward the exit without a word. As they passed him, their bodies twisted and morphed into dark, wraith-like shapes. Mark's breath quickened. He was alone now, trapped in a bus that had seemingly left the real world behind. The whispers grew louder, pressing in on him from all sides. "You've crossed over," they said. He tried restarting the engine, but it was dead. The lights flickered out, leaving him in darkness. In the silence, Mark felt a presence behind him. He turned slowly, his heart pounding in his chest. There was no one there, at least no one he could see. But he could hear them. "This is your final stop," a voice whispered into his ear. Mark's scream echoed in the darkness, swallowed by the mist as the bus faded from view, never to return.